Kevin, please.
These two?
Hey, you're catching us on the Gourmet Club Live. Yeah, Christian, you can grab that over there, bro. On the Gourmet Club Live. Yeah, both of those, please. Gourmet Club Live, we have a special show for you today. We're in-house. We move things around a little bit today, so that's pretty cool. Just kind of mixing it up. And we have, as always, we have Phil Phoenix. Not always, but we have Phil Phoenix in-house, the podcast editor and sound engineer. Say hey, Phil.
Hey, what's up?
Good to see you, bro. And we also have the Venus Flytrap man. And thanks for being here and handsomely dressed and ready to go.
I like his Astro shirt.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Digging it.
So that's what time's that game today?
7? It's a night game.
Is it that late?
That's the time they start, and they're over like 10, and people walked out trashed.
All right. So, so the Astros. We need to talk about it a little bit. But also the Gourmet Club Live. Just so y'all know, we are very excited about this show. It's a new show, and it's everything Houston hospitality. It's a brand new show, and we always have a guest in house for this, and we want to talk about all the great restaurants and all the great trends that are happening. And we just happen to have one of the best chefs in town and also one of the best restaurants. We're very proud to have Chris Davies in studio. Chris, chef, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you. And I know, I want to speak for everybody, but I know that your restaurant is a favorite of ours, man. And it's a real pleasure to have you in-house.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you're crazy busy. But, man, I just ate there, I think it was about 3 weeks ago. And it was smoking good.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I was at the, matter of fact, Bob, our producer, she's not here. So I'm going to give her shit while she's not here. But she made, she had 2 screw. I don't want to take the show away here, hijack the show, but she made reservations for my wife and I to go have dinner. And for whatever day it was, let's say it was August 3rd. And so we went down there, and we were all excited. And the first time we finally get a chance to go down and eat and get there, and she made it for like October 3rd. So we were early and a little early for the reservation, and you guys were slamming busy. But I tell you, they had us. It was packed, and there were people sitting everywhere.
Yeah.
And they got us around the counter like within 15 minutes.
Killer. Did you guys sit at Sushi Bar or?
Yeah, right on the corner, right. So you got the bar, and then we sat around that corner in the sushi bar. Yeah.
Perfect. That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
that's a good. And that corner is good.
Yeah, you kind of get to see the whole restaurant.
Do you always put the guys in the same spot? Because your corner guy's the man.
Oh, that's our sushi chef Ichiban. So he's an expert. He's great.
Yeah, because you usually have like 3 back there.
Yeah, in that corner. There's usually the corner guy, which is Ichiban, and then Zero-san, which is he does all the cold tastings, sashimis.
Okay.
So those guys are more the higher level, more experienced sushi chefs.
Okay.
Zero-san.
Zero-san.
I like that name.
It's all numbered. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just Sanban, Ichiban. It's all numbers.
Sure. But we're talking about the corner that faces the door, yeah?
Yeah.
That's where I sat. That place that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I have so many questions, but man, you had all the food was amazing, but there was a dessert. That was the best thing I've put in my mouth fucking ever. I mean, it was so damn good. I have a picture of it. It was soft and I was surprised because all the textures were kind of the same, but it was the best thing I've ever put in my mouth. I thought it was amazing.
Is it the Vietnamese coffee dessert?
I don't know. We had like 2 or 3. We're going way off track here, but it was amazing. And so you've been at Uchi now for how long?
Been down here about a year and a half.
So
brand new to Houston.
Now, from Chicago. Did you come from Chicago?
Yeah.
No, I think I read somewhere that. Did you work with Rick Tremonto or in the same kitchen? Or
No, I didn't. He actually, by the time I actually arrived in Chicago, I think he had just left for New Orleans.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
But
Where
his
are you
legacy. Originally, I'm from Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good food up there, too?
Great food. Yeah. The food scene up there is just unbelievable. Seafood up there is killer. Produce, when it's in season, is just unbelievable.
So I tell you what, before we get started, I need to take care of some housekeeping real quick, and I just want to thank our sponsors because without them we would not have them. So just a real quick shout out to Dunkin' Coffee, Escoffier School of Culinary Arts, And we have the Texas Beef Council and Aceway Incorporated and the American Culinary Federation. So thank you guys all for trusting us with the show and helping us bring it to all of our listeners all around the world. So thank you so much for that. So, Chef, take us through. We have some. I also read that you have some influence from your mother, but also you spent some time in Egypt.
Yeah, so about when I was 5 years old, my father took a position as a hydroelectric engineer in southern Egypt. It's a giant hydroelectric dam on the Nile River called the Aswan High Dam. So we moved, he uprooted the family, moved over to Egypt, and it's, it's definitely a different world, third world as it comes down there. And that was really, really awesome. I definitely was very lucky to grow up down there.
Now, when you say grow up, what was what your age?
It's about 5 till 10. We moved back a little bit north of Seattle when I was around 10. So pretty formative, years in kind of forming who you are and your life experiences and who you're going to be.
That's not. There's a dessert.
Oh yeah, it's the goat milk with cantaloupe.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
So when you look at that, you're thinking, wow, they're all soft textures. I mean, I think there's some nuts on the side or some texture on the side, but it's relatively all soft texture, so it's kind of
baby food.
Oh my God! When you put this in your mouth, it's amazing.
That's solid.
Fucking amazing. It's so good. So okay, so 5 years old to 10 years old, you're in Egypt. I guess when you're that young, you're probably not even thinking it's another part of the world, or did you really know that you're going to?
I think I was pretty self-aware,
Yeah.
Just because my parents made sure that I knew. They knew that, I'd walk around our neighborhood and walk across like obelisks or ruins, and I knew that wasn't normal. So they made sure to, let me know that this was an experience that not everybody else in the world was getting, especially not in the States.
Now, Jay, I think we have a picture or two. Do we have that? Did you put that up already? Look how cool that is.
Yeah.
Look at that. now, that's your brother, I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my dad, and then my brother on one donkey. I'm on the other donkey. I think that was in Greece.
Oh, that's in Greece.
Yeah.
And Jay, do you have one more? So, did you live there, or was that just a vacation?
That was just a vacation.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. That's, of course, the outside of Uchi there. So your mom must be a real trooper to say, hey, we're going to go live over there for 5 years.
She's amazing.
Yeah?
She's an educator, school teacher. So luckily while we were over there, we didn't go to any there were no private schools for Americans that you could go to in that part of the country. And we weren't going to go to public school because it was just, it wouldn't be the same quality of education. So we were able to get that education from my mother, which was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So she homeschooled you in Egypt.
Yeah, and a lot of the other kids in the neighborhood, because there's a community of American expats and Italians, Argentinians.
Wow.
So it's very, very diverse.
Wow, that's wild, huh? Now, did she have a school teacher background? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a teacher for over 30 years before she retired.
Okay, so she was pretty cool on that.
Yeah.
Now, during the education, did she intertwine the Egyptian way or cultures into part of that education or some of that history? Or did she say strictly?
That was more kind of independent study on both my brother and I, because we were so fascinated by what we were surrounded by that I think it was pretty strictly English, math, science. Those were the main orientations of what we got. And then the nice thing was being homeschooled, we were pretty much done in like 2-3 hours. Of intensive schoolwork, and then the rest of the day was just running around raising hell. So that was kind of nice.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That was probably hard to come back to the States, and then you had to be in school for 8 hours and all that.
Yeah, it was. For me, it wasn't as bad because I went right into like 4th grade.
Okay.
And it was more the social interaction of being kind of thrown in a classroom with 30 kids, where in Egypt, it was just my brother and I and like another kid.
Yeah.
My brother, unfortunately, got thrown straight into middle school, and I can't imagine how hard that was,
that's
man.
tough.
Those kids are nasty.
Yeah.
So I think he probably had a rougher time with it. I had a couple years before I got to that stage, so it wasn't too bad.
Now, at what point did you start gaining food influences? Did you start getting excited about cooking while you're in Egypt?
Not
or that
at
came
all.
out?
No.
Yeah.
I don't come from a very culinary oriented family, and so I always enjoyed the food, and I have those memories, but it was never an interest, and it was more I was a picky eater as a kid. It wasn't until I started cooking that I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah. And so when was that?
I was about 19.
19.
Yeah.
And that would have been back in Chicago?
No, that was I was still up in Everett, Washington.
Washington.
And basically I was delivering pizza and my car broke down. And so I needed a job.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I just walked into a Cajun restaurant and told them I knew how to cook, and they believed me, and it was
That's
great.
awesome.
About a week later, they said, we know you can't cook. If you can't figure this out in like 2 weeks, you're fired.
Yeah, yeah.
So I made it happen.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
awesome.
Cool. And so where from there?
So I worked at that restaurant. Everett's about 40 miles north of Seattle. Not really much going on as far as culinary. So I moved down to Seattle after about 6 months and worked at a steakhouse for a couple years, the Metropolitan Grill up in Seattle. Great restaurant. And then, kind of bounced around a couple of restaurants in Seattle and finally made a move to Portland for a year. And then the recession hit and half the restaurants in Portland closed, so I hightailed it to Chicago. It was great.
Wow. And so Chicago, your first gig, I think it was, what was your first restaurant there?
The first one, so I started cooking at a place called Branch 27, which isn't notable. The chef there is very good. His name's John Mannion, very influential chef out in Chicago. He has a couple restaurants that are just phenomenal. After about a year there, I moved to a place called Henri. Henri is very, white tablecloth French, and that was right on Michigan Avenue, right across from, Millennium Park, high-end clientele. Right. Really true Michelin star food. They never got one, but, it was always kind of a head-scratcher how they never got one. But
And how long were you there?
I was there about year 3 months, and then I got an opportunity to open up a restaurant called, take over a restaurant called Blue 13 as the chef de cuisine. And then we were doing some cool stuff there. Definitely got some notoriety, Jean Banchet nomination, stuff like that. So,
wow. So at what point, who do you think had the biggest footprint on you as a chef? Or who had the biggest inspiration for you during this time?
During that time, definitely, the chef John Mannion. I always kind of went back to him for advice. Really mentored me. He had been in Chicago over 20 years, opened a ton of restaurants, really well respected. So he was kind of my touchstone. If I ever needed advice or mentorship, I'd go back to him. There was another chef I worked for, the owner of Blue 13, Chris Curran, just great guy. He's very successful as well. So those two guys I would always just kind of touch base with and kind of feel them out for what I should do next.
And what about now? I mean, so when you got the chef de cuisine job, how old were you then?
I was probably like 29.
Yeah,
so still pretty young.
Still pretty young, and not any formal culinary education, right?
Nothing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Just grinding for years.
Yeah,
That's the way to do it.
yeah. And so, and you moved down here a year and a half ago. So, at this point now, I mean, and Uchi is amazing.
Yeah.
It's one of the top restaurants in all of Houston. So, what about your inspiration now? Who's some of your biggest inspiration?
Just the guys I work with. I mean, that's personally my favorite part of Uchi is the culture and what we really put our employees first. Food and employees and customers are, top three. And, I'm lucky to be surrounded by great sous chefs right now that really drive me every day. The staff I have right now is so tight. I don't think I've ever worked with a staff that, together and tight. It's before I even have to tell them to go over and help out, somebody's over there. It's like, extension of what we do every day. So it's pretty easy right now to find inspiration just from those guys. And they put up food, put it on the menu all the time. So it's,
You could see that those guys there, that there's a chemistry between everybody behind the bar. Not only that, but they are very good at connecting with the people who are right directly in front of them while they're working. So you don't really feel like when you're dining there, you don't feel the need like you would at another sushi bar to kind of watch your food get produced, because your guy's going to take care of whatever you ordered. So you're looking at the activity elsewhere. So actually, it's like, as a spectacle, it's a fantastic experience.
A show. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then the chemistry back there, obviously, like you guys have your own language of how you communicate. And so it looks like a really well-oiled machine. But I wonder, like, who set the standards, the guidelines of how what your culture is in terms of like your team. Your employees?
It's interesting. Tyson is chef owner. He's mostly in Austin, but he'll come check in all the time, and he's a great guy. Really, really intelligent. Food's amazing. But I think he really at some point handed off a lot of those decisions to some of the line level guys. And so it's really been a culmination of about 15 years in this restaurant. And you can see that it's had its kinks worked out, and I think the process is tried and true now. But really it comes down to every day we got, our core values posted on the wall. They look at it, they see it, they embody it, and they're really, they're important.
Well, it's a talent too that because it's not easy to get the dupes continually jamming off of that machine, and be able to keep a conversation going with the guests. You know, that you can and ask about what do you think and where is it from and whatever, and your dupes are stacking up.
They're getting crushed.
It's amazing that they're able to focus and still keep a smile on their face.
It's a different talent.
Oh no, I tell those guys, I'm like, I give it up to you. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
To the art of sushi alone is one thing, but to actually interact and then provide an above and beyond experience with the same quality that you're going to get on the floor is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
They deserve all the props they can get.
Yeah, I mean, because my temper wouldn't be very good. It's like, don't talk to me right now.
Right.
I got this shit in front of me.
It's seamless.
Yeah.
It's probably the best part about the experience eating there. And I think there's a misconception as well, where everybody just assumes it's a sushi joint, right? I mean, like people that don't know, they're like, oh, the sushi joint, that Uchi place that came from Austin, it's a sushi. But I think it's so much more than that.
Oh,
it's
way more.
Like,
I think.
Right. It's the combination of just a couple of flavors on each plate that have been probably battle tested or trialed a million times until it's just right. Kind of like Ferran Adria's restaurant. That's what El Bulli was. It was about labbing out a certain combination of flavors where you had enough people chipping in and being honest about it and saying, okay, now it's perfect. And that's how I dined at the Austin one in 2008, and it had been around maybe 2, 3, 4 years, I think, at that point. I'm not really sure, but I went to the Uchi in Austin, and the experience in Austin was nice, but we went to a table, and I remember thinking, walking in, oh, it's going to be a sushi joint. But we ended up liking this dish that was really fantastic quality beef, and it was just a few pieces, and I forgot how it was prepared, but it was very, basically the ingredient was celebrated more than anything. And so you could really taste the flavor of the beef. We liked it so much that the people who were with me, they were like, let's go again, let's go again. Little did we know it was like $50 for each thing, and it was barely like a bite for each of us. So the bill ended up being like $700 for the three of us because we ended up ordering that beef. But ultimately, when we left, we were like, it was worth it.
Yeah.
And so there's not a lot of restaurants in the country that make you feel that way.
Well, and that just, there's a couple things you touched on there. I think the sourcing of ingredients, we don't bring in anything inferior at any cost. We aren't looking at trying to save. Luckily we're a busy restaurant. We don't have to worry too much about some food cost issues, but we're not cheaping out on product. If I bring in a couple different types of kampachi, 10 times out of 10, we're going to go with the high quality, even if it is more expensive. It's just not, and it's just what the customer deserves. People come and they spend a lot of money at Uchi, and they deserve those high quality, even stuff that they can't, get anywhere else in the country. We try to source that out and make it special. And then, you talked about like the tasting process. Every month 8 people sit together. We try out every single dish that might go on our specials. Specials page might go on the core menu. And we sit there and we break it down. Pretty honest feedback, and don't really sugarcoat anything. If something's not up to par, we just scrap it. If something's got some potential, we go with it. If something's perfect, we try to find that it's not perfect and how we can make it better. So, and it really, the philosophy of Uchi is the perfect bite. So, most everything's eaten with chopsticks. You got to get the perfect bite in each chopstick bite. And so I think it's really one of the things that kind of blew my mind when it came down here. And it just really makes it a special kind of experience overall.
Yeah, I mean, think about that for a second, because I was going to say that in a different way, meaning that you're taking raw ingredients and then you're eating it and it's amazing. So you're taking raw fish and you have to do something. It's not easy at all, so to get those flavors that just explode in your mouth with an ingredient, they just barely slice the fish, they put it in the dish, and they put a couple ingredients, and all of a sudden it's amazing, right? I mean, it's all. So to get to that point, the different oils and the different reductions and the different purees and the colors and all that, it's quite an art, really.
Yeah.
And to think, it's really, that's a cool thing you point out, to get it all on one chopstick, right? Because as we're doing in the westernized world, you create a plate and you have your textures on one side and the sauce on a little bit, and your idea is I plate it in such a way I hope that they drag their fork through it and I get this. But chopstick, you don't have that luxury, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean,
and it challenged me in a way because I wasn't used to creating food for chopsticks or dishes for chopsticks. So like probably the first 5 specials I put up there, like it's good, flavors are there. This can be impossible to eat with chopstick. I'm like, so frustrating.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to get in a groove.
Now, you were recruited, or did you search that job out, or how did that?
No, so I'd kind of run my course in Chicago. Was ready to leave the city. You know, the pace of life up there and the weather is brutal.
Yeah.
You know, it's just you're always in a rush, and you know when it's -10 out, it doesn't make anything any easier.
Yeah.
So I decided that I was going to leave Chicago and didn't really have any expectations of where to go. Just wanted to get out of there. So a friend of mine's a headhunter, and she brought up Uchi, and I don't never cook Japanese food. I don't know if it's the right fit. And she said, well, let them fly you down to Austin. Let them just kind of show you what the company's about. And so I'd never stepped foot in Texas before in my life, so I didn't know what I was walking into. Got into Austin, I knew within about 3-4 hours just watching the way, the dishwasher was busting my balls on how to properly hand wash their blender. And I was like, well, if this dishwasher knows what's up, then the chef knows what's up. And I was like, and then when I saw the food, especially the hot side, it was less intimidating because it's French technique, with a little bit of Asian ingredient. Sometimes they just, take a step as little as adding some yuzu instead of lemon or shiradashi to round out flavor. And so it was a lot less intimidating. And then I crushed my tasting, and they hired me.
Wow.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're enjoying it down here?
Yeah, I love Texas.
Yeah.
It's so nice down here.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah. Even the summers, they're hot, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, I was okay with it for the most part. I grew up in New England myself.
Okay.
And in Vermont and in New York. I was in New York for a while, and I didn't have a problem with the heat too much, because I can cool down quicker than I can warm up. I mean, as far as in New England, I was in New Hampshire where in the whole month of January I never got above 4 below. For the whole month of January. And so that's a lot of shit doesn't work when it's that cold out.
Yeah, I don't miss the cold.
Yeah. But so I heard that when you first walked in, you said you listened to the BCN show. Yeah, that was cool, right? And Louis.
That was great.
Yeah, what a great talent, huh?
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
The meal I had over there was just so spot on. Service was unbelievable. Attention to detail in that restaurant's just quality.
That might be the best service in the city.
Yeah, best I've had.
Yeah,
and that's no slight on any other restaurant.
Yeah, not at all. Because Tony's is good as well. But you know what it is? It's about the culture. For in my opinion, for good restaurants that have good food, let's just start from there. Like the food has to be fantastic, but from there, the mentality of generosity is what sets the restaurant apart. And what I mean by that is, and I experienced this. I told Chef about it. I was really excited about going to eat at La Tour d'Argent in Paris, and I was like, okay, I got to see why it's this expensive. And it was as simple as this butter pat that came out that I can just tell from taking one little, and I like butter, but I don't overdo it, that I put it on the bread, and I was like, this is the best butter I ever had in my life. I don't know what cow they got it from. I don't know why it's so good, but he said, yeah, this butter, we've always used the same butter. We've always gotten the butter from the same place, right, from a farm who knows where. And I remember looking at it, I was like, everybody was being really careful with it at the other tables. And I just said to the guy, I was like, look, I'm going to tell you right now, like, we're going to murder this butter. And he was like, and he's like, yeah, no problem. And I just thought about it. And I was like, he didn't even stop and think about it. It's like, I just mentioned that. And the next thing you know, it was like, they brought another one. And then
we're going to need 3 more of those, man.
Right. Yeah. And I'll compare it to you guys. You're a corner guy. I was sitting there by myself. I wasn't even planning on going out to eat. It just happened that way. It was on a Monday night. And I ended up sitting there, and the last part, he's like, you like sea urchin, right? He asked me where I was from. I said, my family's from Chile. I eat a lot of sea urchin in Chile, like a lot. And I can tell the difference between, there's a lot of subtle differences. When it's great, it's like velvet. And I don't even remember what he put it on. It didn't matter. But he loaded it up so high with sea urchin. In my mind, I was like, yeah, this is probably going to be like $25 or $30 for this bite. But he put so much on there. I was like, that's really like a $150 bite. And I was like, but that was the last impression he gave me. I didn't even have dessert after that because I was like, that was my dessert. You can't end on anything better. and that's the similarity, regardless of what the service is like. You know, like how the service is carried out, whether it's at the bar, but it has to come from the generosity of the chefs and the people who are serving.
Yeah, and I think places with amazing service, this is what I saw at BCN, is the anticipation of what you want and what you need is they recognize it before you even know that you need it or want it, and it just blows my mind.
And he's such a sweetheart guy.
Yeah, great dude.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy and really special. And I was telling you earlier, did you see the pictures? I told you about it, the pictures of his new restaurant.
No, I haven't seen them.
Oh my God.
Well, I know they got the same designers from Amazonica in Madrid, and I was just there last month, and the interior of that is it looks. Just think about Rainforest Cafe if you had like a Spanish artist,
like a couple $1 million to do
it.
Yeah.
Right, and had all the resources.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a spectacle. I mean it blew me away, just the pictures of it. So I'm excited for him, and he's a passionate guy, and that's pretty cool. And the what's some of the other favorite restaurants in town? Have you get a chance to get out much, or?
I don't go out as much as I really should. Just Uchi working so much, and I usually sleep on one of my days off. But Nobi's is amazing. I'm a huge fan of Chef Martin. Anything by Chris Shepard, dude kills it.
Yeah.
UB Preserve I just went to a couple months ago. It's awesome. Just another really great Houston chef, great dude.
Yeah.
Hugo's Sunday brunch is so good.
Yeah.
It's like indulgent because it's like buffet. I don't know if you guys have been.
Yeah.
It's
And he's a sweetheart too. He's a dear friend.
Oh, really?
Oh, he's just a wonderful, amazing, special guy. And I got a lot of projects with him right now. But I was just telling Christian, next Wednesday we have both Hugo and Michael Mina in studio.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna.
They're teaming up on something.
I think Michael Mina is in charge of. I haven't got the whole one page done yet, but a bunch of like a restaurant strip out in L.A. in this area. It's kind of like a city center type of area, and he's in charge of putting all the kiosks in.
Wow.
Yeah, and so Hugo's going to be one of those.
Got it.
Yeah, and so and they have an event on the 11th as well. It's like a James Beard event.
Okay. I heard about that.
Yeah, I can't go to it, but
where's that happening?
it's in the medical center on the 6th floor of some restaurant. I should remember the name of it. It's a restaurant. It sounds like a pretty. If you didn't have that freaking wine dinner, I'd be going to it.
We got to keep our job.
But Chef, did you hear about the A Night in Hill Country, sponsored by Chef's Roll? It's on Monday, October 22nd. It's coming right up.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I should send you the link to it. It's we have some of our friends, chefsroll.com. They have a great website, and they have it's really a great kind of magnet of all kind of cool food that chefs post on their site. So it's kind of a cool resource site. But they also are hosting this night out in the Hill Country, October 22nd, and it's all kinds of craft beers and spirits, and it's at the Treaty Oak Distillery. Live music, and Jeremiah Tower is going to be there. Chef Marcus Glocker and about 20 other chefs.
Killer.
I think Seth is going from Past and Provisions.
Another great restaurant.
Yeah,
this is great.
Yeah, really good. So he's going over there. So, yeah, any listeners out there, make sure you go because it's free. It's free for anybody in the industry, and it's on a Monday, and it's just a couple hours away. So we're gonna actually set up a podcast over there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
badass.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun and have a few cold beers maybe. But speaking of authentic food, because when we talked to Louise, to do true authentic food that he's doing, BCN. I went to Kieran's. We did Kieran's show, Indian food. I went over there last night because they're doing their wedding at our club. Did you know that?
Her daughter's wedding, yeah.
Yeah. It's in the end of October, and our schedules are missing, and for whatever. And she's crazy busy. She's flying right now. She's doing gigs all over the country right now. And but to my point about authentic food, man, she hit it out of the park last night. I mean, and I don't know if you've ever been there, have Indian.
Not yet. No,
holy
need to get up there.
Smokes! If you go, let me know so I can tell her that you're coming.
Okay.
Because she's like the warmest, most special person in the world. Yeah. She's like I don't know,
your favorite aunt.
Yeah, I mean, she just will take you in her arms, and the food was like all over the place, and But I mean, you know who I saw over there? You know who's working over there?
No.
The kid that used to work at Katarabata and
Cyrus?
Cyrus is there, bro.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
he
he was
came
back.
out of the diet. Yeah, I almost shit when I saw
That guy's
him.
good, man.
Yeah,
I would have sent him over to you if I knew he's back.
Yeah, well,
Guy's good.
He's a talent. He's a real talent. So he's a smart son of a gun. So
Yeah.
he's going to go over there and learn everything Indian. He was like the top chef, and the number 1, number 2 guy at Katarabata.
He was the hot food chef.
Oh,
at Cotton.
badass.
Yeah, for a long time. Then he went to Philippines and opened up the gig. And he come out and he has like one more tick box he wants to knock off before he opens something
I
else.
hope
you know?
it's Uchi.
Well, we ought to introduce him.
Yeah, he's good.
Because he's got it together. So he's going into what a great concept, right? You know, to learn that style of cuisine. I mean, it's because the ingredients in the Indian, you know, it's just like there could be 30 ingredients, and you know, so he's learning that. But anyway, sorry to go down that foxhole. But
You been to Chinatown?
Oh yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, it's badass. That was
there's good Malaysian here. That's
Yeah.
because he was talking about Indian fused with, you know, because it's kind of Indian fused with Asian food. Malaysian food has a lot of Indian influence, so I think we have good Malaysian here.
That was something that shocked me about Houston. Is just the ethnic food in this city is just I haven't seen anything like it. It's amazing.
Yeah, right.
I have a secret spot I'm going to take you
all
to.
right,
I'm not even
yeah.
going to talk about it. I have a secret. It's Latin American food, but it's a secret.
Okay.
I haven't told anybody,
Yeah.
but we'll go.
All right, I'm down.
Jay, I think we have a picture of. We grabbed a couple of pictures that we found food wise. It might be older ones, but that's a really cool display there, huh? Is that something that you remember? It might be an old one from
No,
the website.
that's definitely old. I don't recognize that one. At
Yeah,
all.
but that
Looks badass.
it does, doesn't it? That's quite a service vessel.
That one definitely doesn't exist in the restaurant anymore.
Yeah.
Figure out who that went home with.
Yeah, someone that you probably had 5 of those plates,
Yeah.
right? And then you had one other one, Jay. Is it? And that was
The old nabe.
yeah, that's a hard one.
Those things are awesome.
Yeah, it's hard to find out there. Well, so yeah, that's Houston's kind of best kept secret is I mean, shit. I mean, there's so many great restaurants, you know, that to choose from. It's hard to. We're blessed, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pretty cool place to dine out all the time. Well, Chef, we're kind of getting close to up against it. Anything else you want to add, Christian, or anything else, any other questions that you might have?
Just if you want to talk more about Uchi, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the questions I had is and to find that talent. I mean, it's expensive talent, right? I mean, to find somebody that's that driven. Our time has changed right now. I mean, as far as we ask for resumes that coming in, it's just like, oh my God, it's the scariest time I've ever been.
Oh, yeah.
This last year and a half is just ridiculous. And then people that are, you get 10 resumes, you know, you throw 5 of them out, and you try to make an appointment with 5 of them, and 1 shows up, and it's just god awful. I mean, so how do you find the labor pool here and getting the talent, the type of talent that you need?
It's I think we've been really lucky. A lot of employee referrals, which is great. We found a couple people from Leno that have been just amazing. So usually, you know, up in Chicago, the culinary school wasn't pumping out high quality talent. And I've actually been really impressed with Leno.
Okay.
And then some employee referrals, and really, you know, at this point, because I've been dealing with this when I was in Chicago for about 5 years, because that city's so oversaturated with restaurants. You just can't find enough talented cooks to like staff those restaurants.
Yeah.
It's extremely stressful. So, you know, I think it's just you find somebody green, and you just got to imprint on them as much as possible and coach them and turn them into a rock star.
Yeah.
And, you know, luckily we have cooks that are willing to put up with that and willing to like take the criticism, and, you know, you got to know when to lift them up and when to beat them down a little bit, for lack of a better word. But, you know, just coach the hell out of them. So I think, you know, where we're at right now as a restaurant at Uchi, you know, 90% of our cooks have been cooking for less than 2 years.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
you know, they're crushing it. And this is on the hot side. The sushi guy's a lot more tenured.
Yeah.
Those guys, that's a different world to try to find talented sushi chefs.
Yeah.
Like, that's a small pool.
Right.
On the hot side, you know, those guys, they do the same amount of volume almost as the sushi guys, but they're behind the scenes, and they just get crushed. So, you know, we have these guys that are, you know, 2-3 years in the industry doing 400 covers a night, small plates, so it's a lot of food, and yeah, they're doing great.
Wow, yeah, because that kitchen's kind of open. Well, kind of open kitchen in the back.
Yeah,
it's
a
kind of
little
cool.
bit. It's a hidden.
So what's next for Uchi? Is it they have anything new coming down the road? Or?
Well, Denver opened up 2 days ago.
Wow.
Up in Denver. So that's actually the first Uchi outside of
Texas.
And then Loro opened up in Austin about 6 months ago. They're killing it. The amount of covers they do at that place is crazy. Have you guys been?
No.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
What's the difference?
Well, Loro is like a Southeast Asian smokehouse. But they teamed up with Aaron Franklin, who's just unbelievable. So you can actually go to Loro, get Aaron Franklin brisket instead of, now it's a different experience waiting at Franklin, different style. But he curates the meat program. Their pit master up there is amazing. Their chef's unbelievable.
That's here in Houston.
Loro's up in Austin.
Okay.
on South Lamar.
Okay.
And that's been in the works for a long time. So there's been a lot of R&D. Our corporate chef, that's his baby. He director of culinary operations. They changed his title.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he's killing it up there.
Wow.
And so you could probably expect to see more of those down the road. I'm not really at liberty to say where and when.
That's cool.
But that's a scalable project. As far as more Uchis, we'll see when they come.
Yeah.
There's always rumors going around where it could be.
Yeah.
So.
But you're loving it as far as Uchi is concerned. You're loving the company and.
Oh yeah, they're great. I'm going to be with the company for a long time.
Yeah,
That's
good for you.
Yeah, I hope in Houston for a long time. I really love this city.
Yeah.
I think if they open an Uchi Seattle, that might be the only thing that could pry me out of Houston. But
Do well up there. You have great fish up
yeah,
there.
yeah, it would be nice to go home at some point. But
Yeah.
this city's really endured itself to me. Huge sports fan too, and this is a great sports city.
It's a great
Right?
spot.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we didn't. I meant to talk about that today about the Astros, man, and another game coming up, and seeing those boys. Was that the most exciting time ever last year? Those
That was a good time of year.
Those
Playoff
games.
games.
Holy shit! Well, those games are amazing.
That game 5 was
one after another
bananas.
after another. Yeah, it was just crazy. But Chef, thanks so much for being in here. I know you're crazy busy, but to take time out to be with us, and
thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'd love to have you again, and we can have some more fun. And we got a lot of big projects coming down the road. But it's been a real pleasure to meet you, and a big fan of your food, and appreciate you coming in.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Also, before we go, where can people find you, or also Uchi, or anything that you want to pitch before we?
We are going to have a lot of collaboration dinners coming up with some pretty well-known chefs in the city. So just kind of keep your ears pricked for that.
Cool.
We have one coming up with Ronnie Killen
Okay.
about 2 weeks from now. I'm pretty sure it's sold out, but that one's going to be badass. We'll try to do about one a month, every 2 months.
Yeah.
So
That's a good idea.
try to get those tickets. There are about 24 tickets for each night. So they go. Our last one sold out in 15 minutes. That was with Chef Martin from Nobi's. That was fun.
Wow.
That was badass.
Yeah, he's good.
So are you doing it like the Alinea style? You sell the ticket to the event and then you own it?
No. We sell it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but we released it, and it
Yeah.
a lot of people were very upset they weren't able to get in. So we might do multiple nights, but not a lot of spaces. And I think pretty sure the Ronnie one's already sold out. So
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, thanks. You're a great talent, and I know Houston's really great, really happy to have you down here. So again, thank you for coming in studio, and that about wraps up another episode of it's the Unplugged. It's actually not the Unplugged, but Gourmet Club Live. So our brand new show, the Gourmet Club Live, which is everything Houston hospitality. We'd like to thank Chris Davies for being in studio with us. And also another thank you to all our sponsors: Dunkin' Coffee, Ace Way Incorporated, Scoffier School of Culinary Arts, Texas Beef Council, and the American Culinary Federation. So big thank you for you guys for trusting us with the show. And remember, you can find the Recipe Podcast and the Gourmet Club Live on YouTube. And that's on the Recipe Podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and TuneIn. You can find them all there. So, and you can find everything you possibly need on my website, chefcharlescarroll.com. So, again, a big thank you to Chris Davies, and thank you guys for being in the studio. Christian, I know you're running like crazy, and Phil, I know that we got a lot going on at the club. So, Jay, thank you for pushing all the buttons over there.
A lot of trash takeout.
Yeah, so thank you for watching the Gourmet Club Live, where you can find all the hottest trends in Houston hospitality. I'm your host, Chef Charles Carroll. Remember, you're special, you're great. Make an impact on someone's life today. See you next time. Today's show brought to you by Dunkin' Coffee. Mills Dunkin' is a great guy who will fix, grind, and make the perfect custom blend of coffee for you. He has a full service of coffee and teas for hotels, clubs, and restaurants. Customer service is also their best attribute. Just ask me, because that's why we love them. Go out to their website, dunkincoffee.com, and try a blend today. That's DUNCAN, dunkincoffee.com. Escoffier School of Culinary Arts. Are you interested in fulfilling a career in culinary arts or pastry arts? Then you need an educational partner that can help you reach the next level. Escoffier School of Culinary Arts can help you excel in the kitchen and beyond with a balanced curriculum that focuses on the latest culinary skills and methods as well as business and operations. They also offer a flexible 100% online format perfect for working professionals, world-renowned reputation, personalized student support, professional chef instructors, lifetime career assistance, and federal grants and financial aid available for those who qualify. Contact the folks at Escoffier to learn more at escoffier.edu. That's ESCOFFIER.edu. American Culinary Federation. I've been a member of the American Culinary Federation for 35 years. My dad was a chef, and he got me in the American Culinary Federation, the ACF, when I was 18 years old. I've been blessed to travel the world representing the United States of America in the World Culinary Olympics. If you're not a member of the ACF, make sure you join today. They have so many benefits and education, online services, great magazines, great websites, and several conventions throughout the year. Make sure you become a member today at the American Culinary Federation. That's acfchefs.org. The Texas Beef Council is a nonprofit organization representing 130,000 beef farmers and ranchers across the state. Their goal is to increase beef demand through research, education, and promotion, utilizing the beef-loving Texans consumer brand, connecting consumers to the beef they love and the farmers and ranchers who raise it. The Texas Beef Council supports chefs and food service professionals across the state of Texas, whether it's taking chefs on a pasture-to-plate tour across Texas or supporting the future of food service industry through the Texas ProStart High School Culinary Program. The Texas Beef Council plays a pivotal role in the Texas food service community. Aceway Incorporated is a janitorial maintenance company in the Houston area. The owner, Ricardo Acevedo, is such a great guy. Ricardo and his team will come in and help you clean out your kitchens, front and back of the house, office buildings, you name it, they'll clean it with amazing attention to details. Aceway takes great care of your facility, and they also have exceptional customer service, and you all know how much that's important to me. So go to, actually you can dial up their number, 281-879-9899, and you will get Ricardo firsthand. So thank you so much for watching today's show. See you next time.